Embodying the spirit of the deepest, darkest West Country, Outsider is a blast of non-conformity and festival punk. I headed down expecting a good time. Little did I know I'd stumble upon plenty of naughtiness and what can only be described as a wild, secretive badger cult. Just a few miles outside of Bristol, England already feels like a different country. Sheep graze in tangled fields, badgers hide in hedgerows, and shops and warehouses give way to cottages and orchards nestled amid rolling hills. This bucolic countryside is the perfect setting for Fueled by Ciders' Outcider, the most rural-feeling festival I've ever attended. So, grab your wellies, step into the shearing barn, and let's have ourselves a right proper Somerset shindig.
Hey UK Festival podcast fans, it's Tim. I'm on the road again, heading to Outcider Festival. So, it's put on by Fueled by Cider and it's starring the Dreadnoughts who are on tonight. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be a really good one. I've had a bit of a difficult couple of weeks, so this is going to be fun.
Arriving on Thursday afternoon, I was keen to get to the shearing barn and see all the music I could. Opening up the barn, which was to serve as the main stage, was Jolly Roger, a fun and silly pirate-themed band with a brilliant attitude. While they played some traditional songs and had a ukulele on stage, when they got going they were very much a real rock band. After them came the Imprints, dramatic and slightly dark while keeping a fun folky edge. The set got progressively heavier as it went along, as if they were intentionally preparing themselves for Thursday's main event. And what a main event that was. The Dreadnoughts are, in my semi-professional opinion, the best live band in the world at the moment. At least if you're up for pirate poker. Fronted by the incredibly talented Nick the Fang, rumours state he puts the band through a 12-week theatre course before they're allowed on tour with him. If this is the case, well, then it shows. Playing the best punk covers of sea shanties I've ever heard, plus a bevy of originals so good they're rapidly becoming folk punk classics, the Dreadnought's sheer stage presence and quality of audience interaction is unlike anything else I've ever encountered. One tradition the band indulges in is sending their drummer Markham to the bar via crowd surf to grab himself a lovely pint of real cider.
So what we have here is a drummer, and he's a thirsty guy. Those of you who haven't seen us before may not know. What he's going to do for this song is you have to carry him to the bar, get him a proper cider, and bring him back. All right? And the song can't be done. You got to bring him back before the song is over, understand? So if you don't like being jumped on by an alcoholic, you know, you consent to this by standing here. Way down south where the cocks duck crow, way down in Florida, them girls all dance till they all that show, and we'll roll the wood pile down. Here we go! Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll the wood pile down. We're running down our minds on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the wood pile down.
I absolutely loved the Dreadnoughts, and it seems I wasn't the only one who felt that way. After the set concluded, there was an impromptu drunken sea shanty circle. I particularly loved our rendition of Santiana. Waking up in the field on Friday, I felt wonderfully at home. The community of punks drawn to Outsider had instantly decided I was one of them, pulling me into all kinds of antics. But I couldn't linger for too long. Battery Acid were about to take to the stage. Meeting Battery Acid the previous day, I'd made a bit of a fool of myself when they asked me to guess who played which instrument. I don't think I got a single one of them right. Despite that, the band's charm shone through when they were playing, and their set didn't disappoint. Even though it was relatively early, they still managed to get the crowd dancing to their catchy pop-punk melodies. After them came the Autumn Saints. While their jangly desert rock sound wasn't entirely what I wanted that morning, the crowd and the band clearly loved them, proving just how varied the musical tastes of Outsider are. But the real highlight of my Friday came next. Bridget, the lead singer of her eponymous band, is quite possibly one of the most magnetic performers I have ever had the joy of seeing. She poured every ounce of her energy into her viscerally intense, visually arresting performance, belting out bluesy standards with a voice so raw and powerful it felt like Kurt Cobain had been reincarnated. Watching her command the stage with such passion and grit was an absolute joy. After Bridget's stunning set, the day kept delivering. Next up were Lobster, a ska punk band who somehow made one horn feel like a whole brass section. Their cover of Sabbath's Paranoid had the crowd roaring, and the energy in the barn was infectious. Then came Jen and the Degenerates, bringing their heavy, screamy punk energy to the stage. Their wild and unapologetic performance was a total contrast to Lobster's fun ska vibes, but it fit the Outsider atmosphere perfectly. Raw, loud, and a little bit messy in the best way. Closing out the night was Sonic Boom 6. Their intense fusion of ska punk, hip hop, and raw energy hits like a freight train, creating a relentless and electrifying finale to the day. Ska and its derivatives is simply the best music. Saturday was a day for antics and adventure. From Mr. Blobby running about on the site to the scenes of another festival being built in the distance, silliness was in the air. The sound started off with Country from Keir. Clearly pleased to be able to add Playing in the Agricultural Shed to their country credentials, the band's warm, jangly sound was a lovely way to clear my head. After them came Knife Club. As aggressive as their name makes them out to be, these punk rockers took a sledgehammer to any cobwebs left in my brain. I was surprised the crowd was as up for it as they were, but by the end, circles were being run in, and all that remained of sleepiness had long since fled the farm. The gentle, conscious rapping of Chaiman 101 proved a relaxing reprieve from the heavy punk of Knife Club. Thoughtful and intelligent, his set was very enjoyable despite the fact he was missing his DJ. After him, things started to get a little folky with the Kahunas, a two-piece wielding violin and guitar, and their foot drum. I was a little surprised when they started singing about the Ketamine Kid, but I guess going to a few too many festivals just keeps that recurring stock character in your brain. He's certainly in mine. When they had finished, Kev, my contact at Fueled by Cider, gave me a little hint I was going to enjoy the next band in the agricultural shed. Made up of elements from the Bristol-based folk punk group Nasty Fishmonger, as well as the best of the Outsider sea shanty regulars, the group of legends going by the name of Admiral Backbar brought the campfire sea shanties to the main stage, as well as a few of Nasty Fishmonger's best-known songs. For something thrown together drunkenly in the campsite earlier that weekend, this band seemed like they'd played together for years and was one of my highlights of the festival. Dana Emanuel and the Stolen Band followed this up ably, bringing a touch of smoky, dark Americana to the shearing barn. I loved their gothic folk vibes, and they fit well with Saturday's more diverse musical selection. However, the undeniable show stealers of Saturday were the California-based ska-core pioneers 8 Calakas. Blending ska punk, metalcore, and cumbia into a ferocious high-energy explosion, the band electrified the barn like nothing I've ever witnessed before. Their performance was raw, intense, and utterly captivating, so much that I can't fathom how they managed to get this good. The second rapper of the day, Semantics, reached into my heart with his raw, genuine display of emotion. combining loops, live instruments, and his natural way with words to achieve an enthralling effect. Jokingly describing himself as a banjo-playing Eminem wannabe, honestly, I think his stuff is way better than anything Marshall Mathers has put out in recent years. Headlining the Saturday, the Allergies brought the dance party vibe back to the shearing shed with their deeply funky, Motown-inspired sound. Layering elaborate funky horns, soaring vocals, and tight-pounding rhythms, I fully see why this band demands the attention they do. Finally, closing out the night was Bradford's finest, Captain Hot Knives. While he was hilarious, there were few too many people still up for his fully acoustic set to really work. I really enjoyed what I heard, but that was probably less than half of it. Sunday at Outsider was set to be one of the most deranged occasions of my life. The video title mentions a badger cult. Well, my little cider scrumpers, that's today. Among the many things which set Sunday apart from the rest of the festival was that it was Ladies' Day. This meant that all of us people who usually present as men were to do the opposite and don all sorts of sparkly flowing dresses. It was quite liberating, if I do say so myself. And I get the impression a lot of the guys wouldn't have been able to commit if it wasn't so institutionalised. Yay to breaking down gender stereotypes, one party at a time. I think they might call it Best Dressed Day now, to be more inclusive. The first act on was cider aerobics. I still don't quite understand what was going on with them, but take away the madness, and it seemed like it could have been a cider and festival themed exercise class. While the leaders had a certain escape the asylum quality to them, I can't deny it was a good workout and left me fully prepared for my proper induction into the cult of the apple. Now, the Surfing Turnips are something of a cider punk institution and true lovers of the scrump. Indeed, a sign encouraged their audience to come and be washed in the juice of the apple. The original creators of the Dreadnoughts hit Turbo Island. During the Turnips rendition, they shanghaied the audience into serving as the crew for an imaginary longship, which they then sent sailing around the barn. On a personal note, I sort of expected the Turnips, who I hadn't seen before but am a big fan of, to be a little bit of a disappointment. They were the opposite, and thoroughly outperformed my expectations. After the Turnips, we had a nice calm break from the typical scrumpy-induced madness of Outsider with the Willswood Boys. Matching lovely dueling guitars with chill vocals, this acoustic duo were a nice breeze of pleasant sea air passing through the cider barn that was Outsider, stopping it from getting too squalid and crazy. They were followed up by We Punch Tigers. Now, I hung out with the Tigers a lot, them being good old fellow East Anglians, so I'm just going to let past Tim explain my opinions of them as a band. We Punch Tigers, the worst fucking band in the world.
Awful.
They've absolutely
Awful.
dog shit. I must admit, I did quite like this track though. When Animal Cruelty Hour was over, it was safe for the High Priest of the Badger to emerge. Put together by the very Mustalanus Rob, the acoustic Badger Band felt like it was an injection of purest West Country culture right into your veins. Singing about grubbing for worms, crossing dangerous roads, and somehow expectedly, cider bars, this acoustic trio made me feel very sympathetic for our furry black and white cousins. While I mulled over the fact that I'd probably joined a cult, one thing did make me feel a bit better about myself. A full Sunday roast on the Sunday of a festival. Once the cult meeting had ended, we had the joy of seeing Dirty Cash, a funky, fun ska fusion band, bringing slight hip-hop elements and offering a touch of electro swing. They felt like they'd be more at home somewhere like Boomtown, but the Outsider crowd embraced them just the same. Dirty Cash's funky, hip-hop infused set offered a stark contrast to what followed, a fiery performance by the Menstrual Cramps. Showing us West Country bands don't have to be cider cultists. The Menstrual Cramps gave us a highly political, indignant punk performance, almost managing to bring me back to reality. Taking no prisoners with their righteous takedown of a host of elder rock gods, the band cast a light on the appalling behaviour of many musicians, which we consider iconic. They were followed by leftist tradfolk legends Fist Fuck the Pope or Freedom for the Travelling People. For a brief moment, Sunday almost felt like a serious music festival. And then suddenly the cider cult resumed its congregation, with Monkey Bizzle performing what they call agricultural hip-hop. Honestly, it's surprisingly enthralling. Maybe it's my rural roots, but I do really enjoy the contrast of farming and rap. Funky and the Two-Tone Baby, who had the honour of opening up the first ever Outsider, tried to bring a little sense to the apple-addled night, but his guitar loops were the last gasps of anything that wasn't soaked in cider. You see, after him, the house band were to finish things off. Celebrating 10 Outcider festivals, key organiser Kev and his comrades in West Country Mayhem, the Skimity Hitches, delivered a brilliant finale with their selection of scrumpy and western reimaginings of classic tunes. The highest church of cider and badgers, the Hitches are best described by the question, what would happen if the Wurzels were punks? Embodying the spirit of their homeland better than anyone ever could, the Hitches had a farmer's son dressed up as a badger, dancing around to rejigged special songs. Enormous love was felt by all in the crowd that day, whether they had generational roots in the lands around Bristol, or they had travelled far from across the world to enjoy the region's utterly unique culture. You see, Outcider Festival is defined by its sense of place. An event like this couldn't happen anywhere but the rural West Country, and if it did, it would just feel horribly wrong. However, this local, regional nature, while it can seem a little intimidating, hides the fact that once you get into things, you couldn't find a more accepting, welcoming crowd. Kev put it better than anyone.
Even the people who are here from London this weekend, even the ones from London, and Surrey,
like we punch Ciders, lovely blokes.
even they have been alright. I know I said it, they've been alright. They're nice people too, I said it. So this one's for them, so we're going to turn this round. This one's about making the West Country a fucking lovely, inclusive place, which it is.
Combining amazing music and an irrepressible sense of fun. While I may have suspicions it's a cult, Outcider's scrumpy drenched community spirit is undeniably something deeply special. If you want to experience the Fueled by Cider madness yourself, tickets are currently available for all 3 of their festivals, Outsider, Cursus, and their January holiday camp spectacular, the naughtily named Insider. Brothers and sisters of the apple, I shall see you there.
Yeah, sort of working. So, We Punch Tigers, the worst fucking band in the world.
Awful.
They've absolutely
Awful.
dog shit.
Dog shit.
Worst. Like, they can't play their instruments. They're absolutely hammered. Their songs are shite. They're about a fucking second long. And
20 seconds at the most.
yeah, the longest is 20 seconds. And they fucking covered the home and away thing. That's insane.
Home and away.
Fucking worst.
And Tim got a really beaten up stick just for his energy at the stage.
I only got a fucking stick.
Tim got a stick and I got a pearl necklace.
That's what the punching tiger punches. And they do cruelty to animals. Fucking no, fuck We Punch
Fuck We
Tigers.
Punch
Worst
Tigers.
band in the world.